Hi there. Welcome back to the Comedy Couch. I'm Maria, and I have long conversations with myself while driving in the car. Today's topic is movie scenes. Movie scenes that stay with us in one way or another. Now, my favorite movie of all time is When Harry Met Sally. And if you've never seen it, you should just know that that is the movie that revived the rom com genre. And a lot of people know it for the famous deli scene where Meg Ryan pretends to have an orgasm while eating a sandwich. This is the scene I'm going to talk about, but not for the reasons that you would think. When Harry and Sally sit down at their table, their sandwiches arrive, and Harry starts eating a large roast beef sandwich, and Sally, who's particular about her food, removes the bread, then removes a piece of turkey, and then another piece of turkey, and then another piece of turkey, and then another piece of turkey, basically until there's only one slice of turkey left in that sandwich. Okay. And I don't know if it's because I grew up in an Italian Catholic household where it was a sin to waste food, or if because I was a little butterball and I just loved food. It bothers me to my core because if you, Sally, wanted a shitty sandwich, then go across the street to a gas station, take your own life in your hands by getting it out of a vending machine. I don't know. You don't go to a Jewish New York deli to get a sandwich if you don't really want a sandwich. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Second movie. Millennials, I know that most of you have seen this movie. If you haven't, I'm shocked. But the movie Hook by Spielberg, um, you can't tell me that you didn't watch that movie and see the food fight scene and not want to either A, have your own food fight at school, or B, eat the frosting that they were clearly throwing. I know it was supposed to be like pies and stuff, but Spielberg didn't like the color palette of that, so he had them take frosting and goop and use food coloring to make it really bright and look really appetizing. And it did. It did look appetizing. I'm not gonna, hey, Jonah! Like, I would have been like, ah. They would have had to do multiple takes because I'm like, stop eating the frosting. It's not completely 100% edible. Um, Another movie, I clearly have a problem with food because this is also related to food. A movie that I watch on the regular is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory because Gene Wilder, he was one of the most incredible entertainers of all time. But the scene where we first noticed Charlie Bucket, um, after school, he goes to the candy shop, which he can't go. I'll take you to the candy shop. Not now, 50 Cent. Um, he's standing outside. He can't go in there because he doesn't have any money to buy anything. And this candy shop is filled with young children sitting at the counter, and this man who works behind the counter is just handing them M&Ms and whatever. I don't know what they ate back then. Okay, it was in Austria in like the 70s. But just free falling, just throwing scoops of candy, not worrying about the mess, throwing marshmallows at the kid. I'm like, who's going to clean that up later? And I did not see any money exchange hands during that entire scene. I get that it was probably a time constraint, but like is this a thing that like just happens that these cool kids get to come in and he just like throws candy at them and then the parents don't get mad that they're like all sugar high when they get home and like who has that kind of allowance back then in the
Um,
70s like and then Charlie's standing outside the window just like licking his lips because he's starving. And not one of those little assholes was like, oh, wait, Charlie, come in. I'll buy you something. No, no, just selfish. Just selfish. That's something that stays with me every time. I'm like, you're throwing candy on the floor. You can't be bothered to give some candy to the child standing outside who's like dying of starvation. No. All right. I mean, his name is literally Charlie Bucket. Like, he might have a pail, you could fill it with candy, and he'd be on his merry way. That's all I'm going to say about that. Quick story time. So, I went to register my car yesterday, and we had all the forms in order. And the woman who was helping me, an older woman named Linda, she asked me, what's a good phone number to reach you at? So, I tell her my phone number, and she writes it down on one of her forms. And she looks at me and says, "Just so you know, we don't give this to anybody. This is just for our records." I looked at Linda and I said, "Linda, if any hot single men come in here, you feel free to hand that out to whoever you want." And immediately she looks back and goes, and then looks over to her left. There's a guy standing at the counter, looks over to her right, looks back at me, leans forward. "We don't have many of those around here." And I couldn't help but laugh because I'm like, "Okay, Linda, you're just throwing shade at 2:30 on a Tuesday afternoon. I am here for it. I appreciate your honesty." Back to the dating apps.